welcome you, first of all, and then introduce you to your clinician for today. He is a prolific artist, player, and conductor in the Houston area. Please help me welcome Everett Hinote.
Hello, everyone. I thought I'd have to do my own introduction, but thank you very much. Well, here we are at our tuba bass trombone clinic for our ATSSB region music and everything else for the rest of the year. How many of you are bass trombone players? Oh, I can speak my own language? Awesome. Tuba players. How many of you are actually tuba players in here? All right, so we can all sink down to the tuba level, but yeah, I don't have to translate anything for the bass trombones, although if y'all still want me to, you can pass on to your friends. I will give you notes or whatever if you need them for their purposes. All right, so I guess we can just get right into it. First, just wanted to get over to the scales, just touch on them real quick. I'm sure you all already know the scales and whatnot, what you need to play for the auditions. You are going to be playing the G major scale, 2 octave. All of these is going to be on the way up, all tongued, and on the way down, slurred. So G major scale, 2 octave, C major scale, 1 octave, F major scale, 2 octave, B flat major scale, 2 octave. Yeah, starts getting interesting there. E flat major scale is 1 octave, A flat major is 2 octave, D flat major is 1 octave, and then the chromatic scale going from 2 legend low B flat all the way up to B flat above the staff and then all the way back down. Still doing tongue up and then slurred down. What's up? All right, let's get over to the music. If you have the music with you, please bring it up, take it out, whatever. Or if you can access it on your phones or tablets or whatever on the ATSSB website. Or I could just go through it with you already. So, first piece is in C major-ish. There are a few accidentals and whatnot in there. But for the majority of the piece, it is in C major. It's a nice, very slow piece. If we look at the top left corner, largo cantabile, it actually means, from the Italian, slowly sung, lyrically. This is mainly because we want to express all the slurs and legatos in the piece. I do have a little list of definitions for everything in this piece. So we will be going through those as we go through this piece as well. All right, so there's a lot of talking points about this piece. You can dissect this a whole lot and just still even get more out of it when you're just playing it for the 99th time and you're so familiar with it. But you can still get through this, pick at it, dissect it, and just find new stuff in there to really sink your teeth into to play it really, really well. So, the first thing I would actually suggest is add some vibrato to this. It'll accentuate the long held notes, make it sound a little prettier, really give the piece a little bit of motion, because it is a little slow. Second, dynamics. This is something I harp on a lot in all the ensembles that I'm in. Please, please do the dynamics. Use extreme dynamics if you have to. Make the softs really soft. And then make the louds really loud. You know, like that. It's stuff that can really make the piece go in a direction. The judges and whatnot will really love it if you do that. All right. Third thing, very important. This is another thing I harp on in all the ensembles I'm in. Subdivide. Subdivide, subdivide, subdivide. You know what subdivide means? Yes. All right. Basically, when we look at this piece right here, real quick, footnote. Take a look at it. Take a look at my sheet right now. See how much writing is on it? Do not be afraid to ever use this. I guarantee you, professional musicians in all the symphonies, orchestras, ballet, opera, wherever, they use this. They make their music bleed. They write anything that they even might consider they might miss. or something that they've missed over and over, they just circle it real big and say, hey, you need to work on this. Or, if anything you need, if you're going to miss something, do it. Circle it, right fingerings above it, do something that makes you pay attention to a specific section that you might miss. Well, all right, so back to subdivide. In this piece, I'll hold it up again. The majority of it is, real quick. Time signature is 12/8, so 4 beats per measure, and then each individual note is divided into 3 eighth notes. Da 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 da. That's your subdivision mainly. However, I will say we have 16th note runs in here. It would be really good if you could actually have that 16th note thing right here internalized all throughout the piece. You could get a little bit more accuracy with precision, with the notes where they should lie in this piece. However, if you can just only have one subdivision going in your head throughout the whole time, it's just the eighth notes, the 3 grouped eighth notes. Da 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 da, or whatever. All right, articulations. There's a ton of articulations in here. Slurs, legato, staccato. And there's one in here that you've probably seen before, but you really don't know what it is. It's the slur, but it also has staccato marks underneath it. Have y'all seen them before? Who knows what that's actually called? We had no idea, right? It's okay. I looked it up for you, and I will give you the definition. It is, where did I put it? There it is. It is called portato. Basically, it is a transfer over from string music. What they do is that in one motion, I'm pretending a bass here because we're all bass players, so they do staccato note, but only in one motion with their bow. They don't go dun dun dun. No, they go dun dun dun. It's one motion with the bow, but there is separation in it. How I am actually interpreting this in this piece, if you can see it or whatever, it's right here in measure 10, beat 4 essentially. There's a grace note on it, and then da 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 da. I am going to say, I had put down here legato with slight separation. So if you do that, that'll give the piece just a little bit of a quirk in there. I kind of hate using that word, but that's what we're going to do with that. With that little quirk in there, it gives us something new to listen to. So the judges will be ever ecstatic if you make that actually happen. I'll get around to playing this in just a little bit. All right, so connected notes, notes tied from other notes held will go. Slurs, no using tongue. If you have a bass trombone friend who's working on the same music, their slur, their tonguing, they shouldn't be not tonguing at all, because it'll just be, it'll be all over the place. Now, what they should be doing is, instead of trombones, when they slur, I would like, how I've taught them before is, whenever they do slur, they're still tonguing, but it's more of a la 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 la. It's a la la kind of articulation instead of da 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 or ta ta ta. So that actually gives them, that actually defines their slurred articulation right there. All right. Kind of the final thing in this is grace notes. There's a few grace notes in here. Where should grace notes actually fall in the piece, in like a little passage, a little motif? Where should the grace note fall? Yes?
On the very end of the beat before it. That's probably not the best way to explain it, but.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, yes. When I was going through this, I was trying to do it where the grace note is on the beat, da-da-da-da, but it kind of didn't really work. So yes, just slightly before the note falls on the beat, or from your perspective, there, right there. Just slightly before where the note falls on the beat is where your grace note should be. So, da-da-da-da, so, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Almost like it was like a 32nd or a 64th note. I know it's going to get a little tedious in there when you're working on this, but you know what? The more that you work on this, the more you get intimate with this music, better you're going to be. I mean, it's just going to come off without hitch. All right. So, definitions. If we care to take notes on all these definitions, I'm just going to go straight down from the page on all of these. And these will actually help you play the piece like so surprisingly well. It'll actually help out with one of these little run sections too. All right, so very top, largo cantabile, as I said, slowly sung. Lyrically expresses the slurs and legato. And measure 8. If you're looking at the music, it's the last measure of the second line. There is a word, flebile. Now, underneath it are brackets. It basically defines what flebile is, mournfully. This means you should slow down a little bit right here during this next section until we get to the next marking, the next definition. So for measures 9 through 11, you're going to play a little bit slower than what you've been taking it already. It doesn't really hinder the performance of the piece at all. It kind of makes it just a little bit more interesting. And then measure 12, we have afret. What is that? Well, I had to go and Google all these for you. Yes?
Frantic.
Frantic. I was going to get to that. I was going to say what the actual Italian word is, because it's an abbreviation right here on the page. So it is affrettando, a rushed, nervous accelerando. So yes, you're correct. I kind of put, if you were to summarize it in one word, hurrying. It kind of says it in the brackets as well. It says ACCEL, accelerando, but if you want to actually give the character to this definition, you know, it's got to be a little bit sudden. You know, like, all right, this mournful section, you know, it's kind of dragging on. So, like, you know, let's hurry up and get over to the faster section. So it's a nervous, hurrying accelerando right there. And that's a measure 12. Next, RINF, rinforzando. Rinforzando. So we've all heard sforzando before, right? This is actually a gradual emphasis or a reinforcement. Basically, we're going to slightly get the tempo up more and more during this. So it's not really something for dynamic. It's more for the tempo, speeding it up a little bit more, going a little bit quicker. But rinforzando, is that what that means? And that's measure 13. Also measure 13. T-R-A-T-T, trat, or trattenuto. That means held back. If you'll notice that there is nothing in there, right? Nothing else right there. That tells you what to do. There's no brackets or anything, so you're like, what's going on here? But thankfully, I know what we're going to be doing at this. In trattenuto, held back with sustained quality, similar to a ritardando, but it's not as abrupt. So we will be slowing down. So we have one 6-note, 16th measure, 16th run right there, another one, and right in the middle of the third one is when the gradual slowdown will start to occur. Because up next, tenuto. We've all seen tenuto before, right? Means held. Essentially, that's what it means, held. What I like to consider is deliberate. Very deliberate on those notes. The tenuto is only under the last two 16th notes in the measure, the G and the F. So those, when you're playing this, let's start right here, measure 13. Da 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 da, or da 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 da. We'll get to the dynamic there in just a little bit. So Right here, he starts slow, 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 and then when we hit the tenuto, very much impact those notes, make them so deliberate that it's almost an arrival point. Da, da, da. But if you'll notice, you know, we get a little bit louder here to a forte, then tenuto, and right here, where it's a tempo, going back to the original tempo you were playing at the beginning, it's pianissimo. Make that count. If you're going da 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 da, just that sudden change, this almost like a subito pianissimo. If you make that sudden change, it'll be like, whoa, what happened? Did the bottom drop out or something? No, that's just that cool effect right there. All right, tenuto, a tempo, and then last one to define happens in measure 17, if you're keeping up. S-T-E-N-T, stentando. A heavy, held back, very deliberate kind of thing. And it occurs there in measure 17, 3 Ds to a held D. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's up there, it's high in the in our little spectrum here. Maybe high for y'all, I don't know. It's in the staff. It's a D in the staff. So you might not think of that as a heavy note. You can make it heavy just by going da, da, da. Really utilize those accent notes that are right there. And each of those three pattern things. Dun, 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 dun. Kind of almost like Beethoven's Fifth, you know. And then also, one other thing to really note that I didn't really put in my notes, but right here, fermata, and then there's a whole bunch of notes right here that seems like there's not really any time signature or whatever. If you don't know, that's a little cadenza. That is a little place for you to have just a little bit of fun if you want to. Now, I've been kind of keeping it a little bit straight just for our purposes here, but I mean, don't take it too fun and make it all screwy so the judges will throw you out on, you know, writing when you're auditioning. But have a little fun right there. What I would suggest is when you're going up, get fast, and then when you're descending back down, get slower until you reach the F right here at the next fermata. I know you really can't see because I wrote so much over it, but this F is held. So everything from there, from the top F all the way down, it gets from fast to slow. And then hold the F out. Generally, the rule of thumb for fermatas is to hold it, the value of the beat itself plus another value and a half. So it's a quarter note right here, so hold it for a dotted half note. You can hold it out a little bit longer if you want, or a little bit shorter, depends on how much air capacity you have. But that's my general rule of thumb for fermata. And then we stop right on measure 21, downbeat. So you don't have to really worry about the rest of the piece, although it is a little fun. If you have spare time, take up the rest of the piece. It is a lot of fun. But so for our cadenza, da 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 da. You end very quietly as well. All right. Well, let me try to muddle through this. I've been trying to practice a lot on it, but water is always very good.